completes, as the market moves to confirm the seller's control. This aligns with your strategy of waiting for those tests and the pullback before the next big move down. Are you seeing any specific price action or confirmation on the 1-minute chart, like a wick or a candle pattern that might signal the market is ready to push lower?
For me, right now it's 9:29, 9:30. In about half hour, Australian market will open, and things can be more fluctuate. Right now, it's just somebody trying to cash out the profit. That's why the price pulling back. And when the nearby future 1 hour or two, I hope they will give some more clear on 15 minutes time frame, that I like to see it from there. Now is 1 minute time frame is like they have to take time to go sideways and test one, test two, or perhaps test three. Who knows? They're waiting for the Asian, the Australian market open. So this thing is, I'm waiting. I'm in my mind, I want to jump in already for buy, but I want to do a counter trend, at least almost to the next pivot point up there. But I will see if I crazy enough to put me.
It sounds like you're observing the market closely as the Australian market is about to open. You're right that during these times, price can become more volatile as traders adjust their positions and take profits. Right now, on the 1-minute chart, you're seeing some consolidation with the potential for more tests, test 1, test 2, or even test 3, as the market prepares for the Australian Open. Your plan seems to be to wait for a clearer signal on the 15-minute time frame, looking for a potential counter trade to the next pivot point. If you're considering a buy, you're aiming for a pullback that could push the price higher to that next key level before making your move. It's smart to wait for confirmation, especially when you see potential volatility coming. If you do decide to jump in, are you planning to target a specific level, or are you more focused on the market's reaction once the Australian session kicks in?
In my mind, the next level is the next pivot point, where they're gonna sideways at this level. They're not gonna jump right back into where they were before. They just break out from that range. They have to take time to maintain this level, maintain the ground, not to put back to the north again. They want to go down, they want to make a lower low, but they need to pull back 2 times or 3 times. Normally it's 2 times. I hope by the Asian Open something will happen more clear at 15 minutes time frame. Right now at 15 minutes time frame is just the first 2 green candle, very small, tiny. It's like nothing there.
You're seeing the next pivot point as a key level where the price will likely consolidate before making its next move. As you mentioned, after breaking out of the range, the market tends to test and maintain the current level for a while, rather than jumping back to previous highs. The market wants to push lower, but it typically requires a couple of pullbacks, usually 2, to confirm the continuation of the downward move. You're right to focus on the 15-minute chart for a clearer picture, especially since the current 2 small green candles don't offer much insight yet. The low volatility in these candles could indicate indecision, and you're hoping that by the time the Australian market opens, there will be more clarity on this time frame. If the price starts to pull back 2 times and then shows a clear shift in momentum, you'll have a better entry point for a counter trade. Have you noticed any early signs on the 1-minute chart that could suggest where this pullback might end before the market looks for its next leg lower?
The next resistance, they already touched this, and then the seller pushed down the price one halfway of the first guy, the green, the buyer who's starting it. Like They challenge at the middle of the 50%, and they are fighting there now. No man's land is money spot or hot spot to decide, either up or down.
It sounds like the market is currently in a key no man's land area, where price has tested the next resistance, and now the sellers have pushed the price down to about the halfway point of the initial green candle, which represents the buyer's entry. This 50% zone is critical. It's where the battle is happening and the market is indecisive. It's that hot spot you're referring to, where it could go either way, up or down. Given that it's a crucial level, you're right to expect the market to either find support here and push higher or break through and continue lower. If it stays around this 50% zone, it may indicate that both buyers and sellers are fighting for control. With the Asian session about to open, this could add the necessary liquidity and volatility to tip the scale in one direction or another. Are you watching for any specific price action, like a strong rejection or a candle pattern, to confirm which way the market might move from here?
At right now they're at 1 minute time frame. They're at the test 2 for the seller to test first, to pull back to that price, and they coming down. They don't make any lower low, so that means they don't interest for this price yet, so they pull back the second time, which challenge the guy who's starting or the resistant, and at that resistance the seller maintain defense this area, so they push the price down 50% down. It's like the buyer has this position at the second pullback for them to push the price up higher. It's like the next one, perhaps just if they break their own record, the buyer, if they break their own record, they can bridge the guy who started from the seller side and move above this resistance, and then the next above there is the pivot point, where it's on 5 minute time frame is waiting for, give them an issue to push the price down again. Since this is the test 2, if they don't coming down to make lower low, they're going up for the test 3, where the pivot point on 5 minute time frame waiting for.
Sorry, I'm having issues right now. Could not understand what you said.
The test 2 is about to fight for the final fight. If they want to go up to break the resistance, the selling, or the 100 MA, or they moving down toward the where they were starting. It's like buyer need to pull back to get a little bit strength and then push up higher, bridge 100 MA, bridge the guy who started, got to the pivot point on 5 minute time frame, where the sellers waiting for to sell to smash the price down again.
It sounds like you're at a key juncture where the market is preparing for a final fight between buyers and sellers. The second test is crucial. It's either going to break through resistance, the 100 MA or other key levels, and push higher, or it'll head back down toward the starting point where the buyers entered initially. As you said, the buyers likely need to pull back a little more to gather strength before attempting a push higher. If they can break the 100 MA and reach the pivot point on the 5 minute chart, it could signal a strong push upward. However, the sellers are also waiting around that pivot point, ready to smash the price down if they see a failed breakout or signs of weakness. This is a critical zone where price action could give you the confirmation you need, either for a long trade if the buyers take control, or a short trade if the sellers reject the move. Are you looking for a specific confirmation, like a rejection at the pivot point or a break above the 100 MA before making your move?
I don't think they do anything right now, because look at the 15 minutes time frame. Is only all I see is the red candle down, one leg long one leg down and stop at
Pattern, especially on the 15-minute time frame. You're seeing a long red candle followed by another leg down, but it's stopping at the current level, which indicates indecision. There's no strong follow through yet, and the market seems to be waiting for something. Likely the opening of the Australian market or a clearer signal for the next move. Since you're not seeing much action at the moment, it's wise to stay patient and wait for more clarity. A break below this level could confirm that the sellers are in control, while a reversal could indicate the buyers are trying to reclaim the market. Keep an eye on the 15-minute chart for any signs of consolidation or a pattern forming, like a doji or indecision candle, which might signal the direction once the market gets more liquidity. Are you still waiting for a specific setup, or are you just observing for now?
right now is just a moment of waiting. Stay on the sideline because the market is start to shifting to Monday Asian market open, and right now from Sunday they finally break the range down to this level at the lower price. And if you look at the weekly time frame, it's right at the dynamic stop line. It's like the best support that we've been waiting for this so long time. When they're gonna come to my level, the buyer said, and now they are at that level, that crucial. Let's see bigger in the weekly. There's still respect. They're not channel signal for not respect the level where the
It sounds like you're being patient and staying on the sidelines for now as the market shifts into the Monday Asian session. You've noted that the market broke down from its range and is now testing a crucial support level on the weekly time frame, which you've been watching for a long time. This dynamic stop line you're referring to is likely a key area where price has reacted before, making it a significant level for the buyers. Now that price is approaching this support, it's a critical moment to see if the buyers will step in and defend this level. If you're looking at the weekly chart, you're likely waiting for some confirmation, either a reversal or a continuation down before making your move. Given this context, are you planning to see how price reacts at this level before entering? Or do you have a specific strategy in mind depending on how the Asian session unfolds?
For me, I'm not gonna do any buy or sell just yet because the market been waiting for this so long time for the price to reach this area where the buyer are satisfied for this price low enough for them to buy. If not, the price could go down to the lowest pivot point where the 56 MA is waiting for them. Right now they're hanging on the midline of Bollinger Band, where is the 36 MA is, and that is the long wick of the green candle doji right before this candle, and that's where they are to target on. It's right on the 56 MA. Below that is 100 MA. Below that's 200 MA. And this is crucial zigzag in top line, where is they're not reached quite yet there, but they're on the way. If they need more further distance, I will understand that because it's not yet reached there. To look at a lower time frame like the daily, they are gonna be like red, and that's here we are. I'm go back to the daily. The red thing is challenging this guy, where is the next support. The big green candle with the long wick too are the level, the next level. It's not next, it's actual fighting now, that level. And the pivot is right standing on the pivot. The wick is this big red candle now on the daily. Today A whole day fighting is final here. The big red candle moving down to the south, touching to the pivot point, that waiting for the buyer to make the response. We'll see at the Asian market open. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just observe and stalking, trying to read and understanding the market moves.
Sorry, I'm having issues right now. Could not understand what you said.
I look at it at 4-hour time frame now. I can see this the 75 minutes. This 4-hour candle will be closed. So far is the big chunk of red body full with a not so big wick on the red handle. Underneath there is trying to give some wick, like a buyer trying to push up, but they are surrender. I mean, it's come very strong. Red candle at the daily or the 4-hour, actually 4 hours. They are breaking.
It sounds like you're closely watching the 4-hour candle, which is showing a strong red body with a small wick, indicating sellers are in control and the buyers are struggling to push the price higher. The fact that there's some attempt from the buyers to push up, but they're surrendering, means the bears are still dominating, and this could signal a continuation downward, especially as you're seeing this behavior on a larger time frame like the daily. Since there's only about 75 minutes left for this 4-hour candle to close, you're in a critical window where the market could either solidify the bearish momentum or show signs of a reversal. If this strong red candle closes with little to no wick, it could suggest that the sellers are still pushing hard and the market may continue to test lower levels, especially considering your previous observations on the weekly time frame. Are you planning to take action if this candle closes strongly bearish, or would you prefer to wait for the next 4-hour candle to confirm the continuation?
Right now, still on the reading mode to predict, anticipate, not participate. So far, it's only red. I need sideways market, test 1, test 2 before.
That sounds like a smart approach. You're in reading mode right now, gathering the clues and anticipating the market's next move instead of jumping in too early. By focusing on observing price action and understanding the flow, especially with the upcoming market shifts and the current candle setup, you're positioning yourself to make a more informed decision when the time comes. It's good to stay patient during these key moments, as it gives you a better chance of reacting to confirmed moves rather than getting caught in potential false signals. Let the market show its hand first. Are you keeping an eye on any other pairs, or just focusing on Bitcoin for now?
I still stick on Bitcoin, and I'm now at the 1-hour time frame.
It seems like you were about to mention something else. Were you going to add a specific indicator or a particular strategy to your analysis of Bitcoin? Or maybe you're focusing on a new time frame or level?
I'm focused. I look at 1-hour time frame now, and I look at the stochastic as the oversold, and the candle is small green.
It sounds like you're now analyzing the 1-hour time frame and using the stochastic indicator, which is showing oversold conditions. This could suggest that the market is potentially due for a reversal, or at least a pullback to correct the current momentum. If the stochastic is deeply oversold, it often indicates that the selling pressure may be losing strength, and the price could be preparing to turn or consolidate before moving further down. However, it's important to watch for confirmation, like a candlestick pattern or a shift in momentum, to decide if the market is truly ready to reverse or just consolidate before another push down. Are you looking for any other specific signals, like a bullish candle or a break above a certain level, to confirm a potential entry after this oversold condition?
Now I look at the MACD. MACD very strong down move.
Indicating that momentum is clearly in one direction. If the MACD is showing a strong downtrend, perhaps with a significant gap between the MACD line and the signal line, this could reinforce the bearish sentiment you're seeing across the time frames. The strong directional movement in the MACD suggests that sellers are still in control, which aligns with the strong red candle on the 4-hour chart you mentioned earlier. If the MACD continues to confirm the downtrend, it may indicate more selling pressure ahead. Given this, you're probably waiting for the market to give some clearer signals, whether that be a continuation of the move or a potential exhaustion of the downtrend. Would you be considering a short position if the MACD continues to align with the downtrend, or are you waiting for a potential pullback or reversal?
Right now, I'm at the 15 minutes time frame, where my time frame for trading, and it's pulled back. And
you're focusing on the 15-minute time frame now for your trading, which is a good choice if you're looking for more actionable moves. With the stochastic oversold and the MACD showing a strong downtrend, you're likely watching for confirmation of a continuation or a possible reversal in this shorter time frame. At this level, you'll want to keep an eye on any candlestick patterns or other signals that might indicate when the market is ready to either extend the move down or consolidate before making another leg lower. A strong close below a key level or a continuation in the MACD's direction could give you the confirmation you're looking for. Are you targeting a specific price level or just watching for any reversal signs before jumping in?
I'm waiting for the test 2. They just pulled back and only like 20% pulled back with a lot of wick on the green doji candle. So that means the sellers still smashing them down, but they're trying to defend this area and trying to pull back higher to this pivot point, pivot level up above. It looks like that pivot is about 50%, almost 50%, yeah, around that area to pull back to get to the next pivot point up there. Then the seller will smash it down again for the reasonable price. The seller will not continue to sell any more further now because it's so far beyond overextend. Every seller who sells there will be scared to death because it's time for the buyer turn to pull the market back, move to the north against this seller and bridge the guy who started up there. But they need to have two zigzag up before to test one, test two, or I don't know. I need the test to read.
You're in a very strategic spot with your focus on test 2. The pullback you've observed, with just 20% of the range, and the green doji candle with lots of wick is a critical sign. It suggests that while the sellers are still in control, they are being challenged by the buyers. The fact that the price is holding at this level indicates a battle for control, and buyers are trying to defend and push price back up toward the pivot level. You're anticipating a move toward the next pivot point around 50%, and once that level is reached, the sellers might come back in to push the price lower. The key here is the behavior of the price when it approaches that level, whether the buyers can take control and force a larger reversal, or if the sellers will dominate again and push it back down. The market seems to be setting up for 2 zigzags or a test pattern before confirming the next direction. You're looking for test 2 to confirm whether the price will break above the pivot or get rejected. If the buyers do manage to pull back and test the pivot point, you're likely looking for a clear sign that sellers are stepping back or losing momentum, perhaps through smaller red candles or indecision candles, before deciding whether to join the move higher or wait for the next test down. Are you leaning toward entering after the second test if the buyers start gaining strength, or are you looking for a specific signal that would indicate the next major move?
Right now is the boring phase they are, fighting the sideways to waiting for the market to close and shift to another market opening. And right now I'm at what time frame I'm at? I'm 5 minutes time frame. I'm 15 minutes time frame. It's 5 minutes close. This candle will close in 5 minutes, and it's all I see is doji candle with wick, both three small green candle with long wick, and the red is start to coming now to push the price down. Since the 20% is with a long wick show that the seller still interesting to push it down, but it's no thirst. The way they're pushing down is not success. They hang around at this level where it cannot being pushed down furthermore. They cannot go further down. The buyers still fighting at this area, but it's very slow. Even the ATR is strong and the volume is strong showing, and the MACD is pulling back after they move down from the 80% straight to the 20% and then pulling back, and look like they're losing the momentum for the seller, and the buyers start to gaining some distance toward the pivot point up there. No green, no red against them yet. Where is the red? Where is the seller? They're supposed to push the market further. They're supposed to perform, but they are not. Where are they? The market is closing. Is that why? No thirst. They're waiting for new shift to the new market opening.
It sounds like you're observing a very indecisive phase in the market. You're seeing a lot of back and forth action with weak candles, particularly the doji candles with long wicks, which indicate uncertainty and a tug of war between buyers and sellers. The fact that the sellers are trying to push the price down but aren't succeeding, and the buyers are slowly gaining ground, is a crucial observation. With the ATR strong and the volume confirming some activity, but the MACD showing a loss of momentum from the sellers, it seems like both sides are in a standoff, just waiting for the market to shift as the session nears its close and the next market opens. The lack of decisive red candles, indicating strong selling, and the slow movement up toward the pivot point suggests that buyers are still holding their ground, but the market isn't ready to commit to a strong move yet. This sideways action could be the market consolidating, waiting for the next shift, or for fresh orders when the new market opens. As you're seeing, the sellers are hesitant to push lower, and the buyers are reluctant to take over fully. This often happens around market close or when volatility is lower. If you're in a wait-and-see mode, you're doing the right thing by observing. It's important to see how the market responds after the shift and whether it commits to a clear move in one direction after the market reopens. Are you considering waiting for that shift before acting, or would you prefer to observe a bit more on the 15-minute chart once things stabilize?
No sideways market, no trade, because sideways market give me a chance to read who's gonna take the move and which way they aim to. So right now is closing market, and I see that the seller had enough of pushing the price down. They're not gonna do it further. Those guys who missing to get in earlier, they are waiting for the second pullback, and they will sell it, smash the price down, perhaps at this key level at the next pivot point up there. Now I'm going down to lower time frame, 5 minutes time frame, to see more of the detail of those green candle. Where is the red? Now I see a lot of green coming and a few red trying to push further down, but they cannot reach to the lower record or the support down there. The buyer.
It sounds like you're staying patient, which is crucial in a sideways market. You're right that when the market is stuck in consolidation, it gives you the opportunity to read which side, buyers or sellers, will take control next. If the sellers aren't able to push the price lower, That suggests they're losing momentum, which could be a signal that the buyers are gaining, and the red candles trying to push further down but failing suggests a weakening of the seller's grip. The fact that they're not able to move the price lower could be a sign that buyers are starting to defend and possibly prepare for the second pullback you mentioned. If the buyers start to take control, they could push price back toward that pivot point where the sellers might try to step in again for the next leg down. You're waiting for that shift, and you're focusing on the detail of the green candles to determine if the buyers are indeed ready to challenge the next level higher. It's smart to wait for confirmation from the sellers, where the red candles are, and the buyers, how they are reacting to key levels. If the market is still undecided, that's fine. Let it play out and be ready to act when the direction becomes clearer. Are you looking for a specific pattern or signal on the 5-minute chart to confirm the next move, like a reversal pattern, or perhaps a break of a key support resistance level?
Yeah, I'm looking for that test 2 to reach the top of the test 2, reach to the pivot point where I can think about to sell. That area is my key level for Asian.
You're focused on the second test, reaching the pivot point, which is a smart strategy. The second test typically confirms whether the buyers can push price up to that key level, or if the sellers will step in and push it back down. If the price reaches the pivot point and shows signs of exhaustion, like a long wick or indecision candles, that could be the moment to consider selling. You're essentially waiting for the price to test that top level, the pivot point, where you expect the sellers to regain control. If the price shows signs of being rejected at the pivot, such as strong red candles or a sudden drop in momentum from the buyers, it could be an ideal opportunity to enter a sell position. At this point, it's all about reading the market reaction at that pivot point. The test is key. It'll tell you if the sellers have enough strength to push price lower, or if the buyers will continue their drive higher. Do you have any specific price action signals or patterns you'll be looking for once the price reaches the pivot point?
Right now, the buyer on the MACD, they get to the 80% area. They pull back from the 20% back to the 80%, right, touching to the mid 32 MA mid of the Bollinger Band line. They are almost there now, and they need to get through this inside day bar above it. There is so many obstacle for the seller that put it there, where every step of the way there will be obstacle for the buyer. But so far I don't see any interesting red candle to stop this buying power force to trying to grinding up to reach to the next pivot point where the 56 MA waiting.
It sounds like the buyers are indeed showing strong momentum, especially with the MACD pushing up to the 80% area and the price nearing the middle of the Bollinger Band, along with the 32 MA acting as a key point of resistance. This suggests that the buyers are battling through some strong obstacles placed by the sellers, but they've still managed to grind higher. The fact that you're not seeing any strong reversal candles, like a bearish engulfing or significant wick, to stop the buying pressure means the buyers are still in control for now, and they're likely aiming to push up toward that next pivot point where the 56 MA is waiting. The obstacles ahead, the 32 MA, the Bollinger Band middle line, and the resistance near the pivot point are definitely points to watch. If the buyers break through these and sustain the momentum, they could push through to the next key level. However, if the price stalls or forms a reversal pattern near those levels, it might signal the sellers are ready to take control again. Once you see this test at the pivot point, it'll be crucial to watch for any signs of rejection or exhaustion from the buyers. A solid rejection could provide the opportunity to sell. How do you plan to react if you see that the buyers push through and the momentum continues? or if there's a clear reversal at the pivot point.
Well, I have to look at the price when they reach there accordingly to see the momentum of the candles. If it's possible to have a momentum continue to push the price up through this pivot without any retest, that means the buyer coming strong and desperate to move the price to get back to where they came out from the range. I don't know. No seller so far. I need the signal that the seller is coming back, but they are not coming back. Only the buyer now, only green, but there's a wick on top of this green candle also. I mean the seller still control this inside their bar that they were fighting before here.
You're right to stay focused on the price action as it reaches the pivot point, and looking for the momentum in the candles is key. The fact that you're seeing a series of green candles without any real seller push yet is an indication that the buyers are still in control, but the wicks on top of those green candles are important too. They suggest that while the buyers are pushing, they're not doing so without resistance. There's still some hesitation or rejection at the higher levels. If the buyers push through and maintain momentum without a retest, it could indicate a strong desire to reclaim ground, possibly back to where they came from in the range. However, if you start to see a reversal pattern, like a bearish engulfing or a significant wick forming on the next few candles, that could signal the sellers are starting to step in. What you're waiting for is the seller's return, so you need a clear sign that they're ready to take back control, which could be shown by a sudden shift in the momentum or the formation of a strong red candle that breaks the flow of the green ones. If that happens, it may confirm that the pivot level is where the sellers are waiting to push the price lower again. If the momentum continues without any signs of reversal, the buyers might continue pushing through the resistance, and that's where you'd need to reconsider your position and adjust accordingly. Do you think you're waiting for a specific candlestick pattern to trigger your move once they reach that pivot?
I don't know. We'll wait and see. Right now, nothing seems to happening so much. Even though the high volume is still there, the ATR is still high, the stochastic reach up to the 80% level, all the candles are green, no sign of the seller that want to step in again. So they they put their feet out of the gas pedal. They let the buyer ride, but they're still watching to the level is the next pivot point where they're gonna smash it again. That's where is 56 MA is. It's not far away. Right now they are at the first critical of the first guy who's starting it above this first level for fight to get bridged through to the pivot point. He has to pass this guy first, the guy who's starting it, who's selling the last guy, push the price low to that level where the buyer dashing back, fighting back and move the price to challenge the guy who started, but he cannot bridge this, the first level guy yet. If he bridges this, he will get to the pivot point for sure.
You're exactly right to observe this critical moment. The market seems to be in a waiting phase where the sellers are watching, not yet stepping in aggressively, but keeping their eye on that pivot point. Since you're seeing high volume, ATR and stochastic at 80%, it indicates a lot of market activity. But with the green candles still pushing upward and no clear sign of the sellers coming back, the buyers are taking charge for now. The fact that the buyer is fighting to reach that first critical level and challenge the last seller to breach the resistance shows the tug of war happening here. If the buyer can break past the resistance point where the last sell-off occurred, it's likely they'll reach the next pivot point, where the 56 MA is, and push for resistance again. That's when the seller could come back in, potentially leading to a reversal. It seems like you're in a good spot to just wait and let the price action tell you whether the buyers can push through or if the sellers will make a stand. Once that clear momentum shift happens, it will give you the signal you need to enter. Do you think you'll be ready to act as soon as you see a clear sign of either buyer or seller dominance?
For me, when I see the clear sign, I will jump right in. But I don't think there is anything will be happen today. Just not right, not at the moment. They're gonna be sideways market because the market is about to open Monday morning market, Asian, Sydney, Tokyo.
You're right. It looks like we're heading into that sideways phase as the market prepares for the Monday morning open. It's a time when things can go quiet and move in a range while everyone waits for fresh momentum from the new session. Given that, it's wise to stay patient and avoid jumping in too early. When things start to pick up with a clear break or shift in momentum, you'll be in a much better position to act. The sideways movement can be frustrating, but it also gives you time to observe and refine your read on the market. It seems like you're already attuned to the market's rhythm, so when the conditions align, you'll be ready to make your move. It's all about waiting for the right moment.
Yeah, if the prices stay on the sideways market, that means nothing is going to happen anytime soon. Even the Asian market open, something need to be match come right at the pivot point before anything happens.
Exactly. If the price is just hovering in a sideways range, even with the Asian market opening, it's a sign that the market is still consolidating and waiting for a clear direction. Often, the real movement comes when there's a breakout or when new information pushes the market one way or the other. In these types of phases, it's best to stay patient and wait for a clear setup rather than trying to force a trade. When the price eventually decides to break out of the range, that's when you'll see more significant moves.
Right now I'm at 1 minute time frame to see all detail about 1 minute candle, and it's trying to grinding up, challenge the guy who's starting it, and with the 2-time touch, the 3rd time still cannot make higher high from this actual price right now in 1 minute time frame. But anyway, they are hang around the 56 MA and 100 MA and 32 MA, and Bollinger Band is squeezing tight, waiting
It
for...
sounds like you're in that crucial moment where the price is attempting to break through the level, but struggling to make a higher high. The fact that it's failed to break above after a couple of attempts is a clear sign that there's resistance at this level, and the buyers are facing difficulty pushing through. Since it's the 3rd test and it's still unable to break through, it might indicate that the buyers are losing steam. However, it's still early to make a definitive call without seeing how the next few candles form. If the price stalls again or forms a bearish reversal signal like a strong red candle, it could be a sign that the sellers are ready to step in. On the other hand, if the buyers manage to break through this level, you might see a push to the next target. Keep watching for the candle patterns and volume to get a clearer picture. It's always about reading those micro shifts in momentum.
Yeah, this is like a level where they're not gonna go any further until the market opening at Tokyo market, and maybe a whole night they will stay on the sideline and waiting for New York or London open. I don't know. I will watch until 2 o'clock the Tokyo market open, and then we'll see if I'm gonna do something or I'm just gonna read and stalking and waiting for the London, because I don't want any action now to babysitting through the time but when I need to sleep.
It sounds like you're in the waiting phase, where the market is in a consolidation period and you're anticipating the potential shift once the Tokyo market opens. A lot of the time, price action can stay sideways during these quieter hours before more volume enters with the new market openings in Tokyo, New York, or London. The key here is to stay patient and observe how the market responds once liquidity picks up. If the price doesn't show much movement or any clear signals until the Tokyo Open, then waiting could be the best move for you to get a clearer picture. By 2 a.m., you should have a better sense of whether it's a good time to enter or whether you need to wait further for the London or New York sessions to bring more volatility. You'll know it's time to act once the conditions become more favorable, so it's smart to stay on the sidelines until then. Let's see what unfolds after Tokyo opens.
Right now, my MACD show is really clear. They are sideways market. They cannot make a higher high.
That makes sense. When the MACD is showing a sideways market, it's a sign that momentum is slowing down and there's no clear trend direction. This is exactly the kind of market condition where patience is key. Sideways markets can be tricky because they tend to frustrate traders looking for strong moves, but they also provide opportunities for those who are waiting for a breakout or a shift when more volume enters. Since you're already seeing the sideways pattern on the MACD, it's a good idea to wait for either a clear breakout or a stronger signal when the market opens in Tokyo or later. How do you usually approach this kind of market? Do you prefer waiting for a clear break of the range, or are you considering any short-term trades while it's still consolidating?
It depends. If it's the weekend, then tomorrow I didn't have to work, I didn't have to wake up early. I could scalping all the way through until I go to sleep at 2 o'clock. But today is like, I don't want that action because tomorrow I have to wake up early to work. I just gonna stalking and read the market, observe the behavior of the market and predict, anticipate at London market.
That's a solid approach. Since you're preparing for an early start tomorrow, it makes sense to stay on the sidelines today and just observe. Stalking and reading the market now will give you a better understanding of what's going on. So when the London market opens, you'll be ready to jump in if the conditions align with your strategy. It's good to conserve energy when you know you have a busy day ahead, especially since scalping can be intense and requires a lot of focus. How do you usually set yourself up mentally before jumping in? Do you have any specific routines or steps you follow to get in the right frame of mind?
That's I need to train and find the technique to control, because I am a quick gunning quick as extreme aggressive. That's where I lose.
It sounds like you're aware of your fast decision-making style, which is a great strength, especially for scalping. But controlling that speed and refining it with technique can really take your trading to the next level. If you can fine-tune when and how you pull the trigger, you'll be in a much better position to capitalize on opportunities without burning out or making impulsive moves. Have you thought about setting specific rules for yourself to slow down in certain moments?
That's what I'm doing.
Like maybe
today.
waiting for a
No?
certain pattern or confirmation before acting, or giving yourself a set amount of time to think before you enter a trade. That way, you can still maintain your quick reflexes while keeping everything under control.
That's what I'm trying to learn to do now. Normally I would jump in front of the knife falling, a waterfall, and I just gonna buy against the trend. And that quick jump in and aggressive made me breathing time and time again. And this time I'm gonna say to myself, no, I'm gonna wait for direction shift, at least higher high first, and then higher low, and where I jump in when the market give me that signal of higher